welcome to the DJ Podcast. My name is Sean, and joining us as the one and only Dante Buff, Mr. DJ Man. How are we?
DJ, play that song. Nah, I'm bloody good, mate.
That's good.
Loving my new nickname, which apparently has been bestowed on me in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, sure. 4 days, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been 4 days.
Because did you see what I messaged? I came up with some examples of what we would do if your name was DJ.
Mate, some of us work for a living, mate.
So it was like, for example, hey, just had a table booked for 7 at 7. Name should be under DJ. That sounds pretty cool. Imagine saying that to the lovely people at the Victoria Hotel.
Yeah,
Say,
I would never say that.
Hey, DJ, did you catch Anne Hathaway's Arsenal video?
Arsenal.
I don't get that one.
There's nothing to get.
Right. It doesn't sound like Anne Hathaway at all.
No, but it sounds like a bloody gooner who's at the fucking game.
Correct.
Great couple of hits from Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, some of the best kicks I've ever seen.
This household was absolutely abuzz yesterday morning when we were watching the highlights with breakfast.
Right. You went up for the cup.
No, I'm up for the cup tomorrow though. Big quarter-final tie between Chelsea Football Club and Legia Warsaw.
Are you going to go to a pub?
Yeah, I'm going to the final whistle.
Hey.
on Brunswick Street.
They open at 9 though. Are you going to go, if you make the final of the Conference League, well, like I said, yeah. Are you going to go to the game? Are you going to go to like the game? Are you going to go to a pub?
No, I don't think so.
Would you do it for the Europa?
Yeah, I would for sure. We went to the Europa 2019, the year that we went to the Europa and the Champions League. Terrible Champions League final that year. Liverpool 2, Spurs 0. But the Europa League, Chelsea 4 and Anne Hathaway's Arsenal 1. Eden Hazard, 2 goals and an assist. I think his last game for the club. Crazy. It was so good.
For the Conference League against Ghent, for example.
Who's going to go with me?
Well, if it's a Friday, I'll come.
Yeah, it'll be on the weekend for sure.
Like a Sunday.
Yeah, like a Sunday morning probably.
So message me. You got to make it first.
Yeah, we got to make. What, you wouldn't want to go and see like Legia versus Real Betis if that was the final?
Real Betis is the silliest lad.
Yeah.
The one that HC plays for?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
Yeah.
Ugly as shit.
I see we also have the same Instagram algorithm.
No, I watch.
Nah, I've been watching him, bro.
I've been studying the film of brother. It's Christmas time in the DTVO podcast. It's just the 5th time we've reviewed our over-unders. I should have got that other thing up with
that fun little spread that you did.
Fun little spread. The best ability is availability. It's our 4th. It's totally out.
This is our 5th, yeah.
So the score before
I was on a fucking bit of a heater.
We had won the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. The score before today's pod, you were up by 1 point.
All time. Yeah.
And head to head, it was 2-2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was because we tied. We tied the second year. So actually, I was 2-1-1, and you were 1-2-1.
Yeah.
God, this is getting into fantasy basketball territory.
Yeah. So the season's almost done. The only team we don't know if they're going to get their over-under is the Toronto Raptors. They still have 2 games to play, or 2 or 3 games to play, and they have 30 wins, and the over-under is set at 30.5. We both hit the under, so it's not actually going to sway the decision. It's just going to make us look nice, whether we get 1 point or we don't get 1 point. Knowing the Toronto Raptors and knowing how much they don't know how to tank, they're probably going to win one of these final games. I don't think there is a massive seeding battle that they're stressing out about.
No, because the teams in particularly in the Eastern Conference that are bad are so bad.
Yeah, semi-winners. Yeah.
Yes,
they somehow turn 2 losses into 4. They can't overtake the Brooklyn Nets.
How will Masai do it this time?
So we will run through the teams over-unders. I think some of the the figures we put in here might be 1 or 2 games off because we put them in the past couple of days and we didn't date them, so we don't actually know when we did it. But we know whether they went over or under, and excuse us if one of the numbers is off a little bit. We'll run through.
Don't excuse us, because here at the Deep 2 we love accountability.
Yeah.
So if we're if we're wrong about anything in this podcast, leave us an abusive Instagram comment.
God, we love engagement. So run through the team. We will run through what their over-under was set at. We will say how many wins they have this year, and then we'll sort of explain why we got it right, why we got it wrong, what sort of happened along the year. It's a good recap. This is, I think I say to the over-under podcast, definitely said at the start of this year, I said, if you have a friend who's into basketball, send them this podcast, because I think this is a great introduction to what we do, our humour, our wit. We've already mentioned Anne Hathaway 3 times. There's a chance she comes up maybe 2 more times. She goes to New York. OG ran into her, and then OG averaged like 25 points right after he ran into her.
I thought OG was going on a hater because there was that beautiful small Asian woman that was sitting courtside.
Nah, that's Brina Pajemski.
No, it was 100% OG.
Holy shit. I didn't know.
Someone fact checked me on this person's name, but I saw it on Instagram.
Suni Lee?
Yeah, Suni Lee, yeah.
That's a great get by me.
Yeah.
She's a gymnast.
Sure.
Is she?
Like an Olympic gymnast.
Yeah. She's like she's the number 2 behind Simone Biles.
SB.
But she wins her own gold. They split the gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, she goes to Knicks games a lot.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Knicks. Yeah, like, you know what? But I saw Benny Blanco. What does he do?
He's married to Selena Gomez.
Selena
Gomez.
Well, has he got a talent?
Is he a rapper?
Is he a rapper?
He looks like an absolute certified goofball.
Bit of blind leading the blind here. He looks to me like
God, Bing is so fucking bad. You can't, for reasons which I shall not disclose. I got banned from Google. If you type in Benny Blurt, none of the proposed searches that pop up are Benny Blanco. They're all Benny Blanco something else. Benny Blanco net worth is the first thing that pops up, even before Benny Blanco pops up.
He's giving a little Dicky.
Yeah,
Is Little Dicky cancelled?
I don't know. I don't even really know. You know what? Benny Blanco, for as gross as he looks, when you strip it all back, he's kind of very handsome.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think if you made him serious about his look, which clearly he's not. Yeah. Benjamin Joseph Levin. Benjamin Gordon Levitt. Joseph Gordon Levitt. Fuck, should we talk some fucking
Lil Dicky
basketball?
Hasn't been cancelled. The Ringer wrote an article January last year called Lil Dicky is crossing the streams.
Me and my homies were just talking about.
Yeah, he's here on the TV show. Well, speaking of Benny Blanco, I imagine he's from Atlanta for no particular event, I'm guessing. The Atlanta Hawks, their over-under was set at 35.5. They had a day ago 37 wins. Their offseason sort of strange. I remember we were sitting there going like, hey, they've sort of stripped everything back and they have to improve internally. And they kind of did, like, jump around turned into the 6 man of the year / 6 man of the year candidate. The only reason he was a 6 man of the year is because they were starting around 1 overall pick ahead of him, but like, he was a good 3-and-D role player. Dyson Daniels turned into a quality starter. He's going to get a couple of all defensive votes, but I don't think he's going to make that. He might make the second team, because remember, there's no positions now, so it's going to be 5.
Oh, he's 100% making the first team.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But there's no positions. It's like, does Bam Adebayo?
They're not. There's not going to be. No, people aren't going to be submitting a 5 center ballot.
I think they do though.
No.
Last year it was like Bam, AD, Wemby on the first team.
Gonna go into Bing.com. No, he's making first.
They got an offensive 2 next to him. Rhys Shea was generally.
Yeah, you're so right. There were 4 centers and Herb Jones last year.
And he plays center.
Yeah,
gets that. The Hawks. did improve. I'm very high on Onyeka Okongwu, despite maybe 5 years of evidence against that.
Yeah, crazy.
There's still a Clint Capella. Probably should have traded him, but he still plays basketball.
They should have traded him 3 years ago.
Yeah, he still plays basketball for that professional team. I was actually looking up Houston Rockets franchise index for some reason. Actually, a reason that will become clear later. He's 10th all time in Houston Rockets win shares.
Clint Capella.
Yeah. Number 1, Hakeem. Number 2, James Harden. Some Ralph Sampsons of the world, and then Clint Capella's 10th.
Bloody hell!
So the highest modern player that isn't Jimmy Hardwick.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it also favours longevity.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't have any kind of 21st century 3 or more year like very successful runs before that.
It'd be Trevor Ariza. He's not. Yeah.
Yes.
And big natural stats do favour bigs. What do you want to talk about the Hawks?
Well, I think the thing to mention with the Hawks is that the team at the start of the season was like, much like Timothy Chalamet in the recent Bob Dylan biopic, a complete unknown. No, I didn't say it. Because they just had traded away DeJounte for not that much. For Dyson Daniels, a pick, and salary flotsam. And yeah, no one knew that Dyson Daniels was good. No one knew that DeAndre Hunter had this leap in him, as you kind of mentioned before as well, but largely because he hadn't played very well in his previous 4 NBA seasons. And he was on last year what looked like probably one of the worst value contracts in the league, like $20 million a year for essentially like a... 4 years. Essentially like a Patrick Williams, Patrick Williams type. Not that they're the same sort of player because Williams is much bigger, but like that 3-and-D wing that's like 3D? What's going on? But he's been great. And, they've got like a collection of like interesting-ish role players. Trey has been good this year. So to be honest, like I kind of have like zoned out of the Hawks the last like 3 months, but the first half of the season, Trey was dealing with nagging ankle and Achilles injuries. But still like kind of being the engine that propels this team to a mid to high 30s. I think the franchise would be feeling pretty optimistic about this.
Yeah. Also, I probably went over thinking they were going to go much over. You probably went over thinking, God, 35 wins. It's easier doing 40 in the East.
Yeah.
They got 37. Neither of us should feel exceptionally great about this.
Hey, a win's a win.
Boston Celtics, their over-under was set at 58.5. I believe they have 59 wins as of today. They do 59. They lost the effort to push harder when the Cleveland Cavaliers ran away with the 1 seed. They would have had to be near flawless after the All-Star break because that's now the 2/3 mark. So, they probably, let's say they were trying fully, they'll probably get in the early to mid-60s. Still enough to go over. We both picked under. Why do we do that?
Because 58.5 is high as fuck.
Yeah. Was Porzingis injured to start the season?
Yeah, he might have been.
Remember in the finals he had that...
He came back for the finals. Yeah.
Jump.
Yeah. He came back for like game 5 of the finals. 58.5. We've used this logic before with other teams that came in with a really high overlap. We've used it before with the Bucks, where it's like, okay, like you won 60 games last year, you were awesome, but you're probably not going to do it again because so much needs to go right for you to be a 60-win team. What might be going right is that they have like 5 or 6 awesome players, and they have fully committed to the bit of just shooting more threes than the opponent. And we might be in the early stages of like a league-wide recognition that if you do get your 3-point attempts up to a certain number over the course of a game, a series, a season, whatever it is, it just becomes maths. If you can shoot an average percentage from 3, which they can do that and better. So, I mean, like if they played the Cavs in the conference finals, like I'd be picking the Celtics as things stand right now. Like I don't think necessarily that there's anyone in the East that has a prayer. To go back to back, elite seasons, back to back really, because they won mid-50s 3 years ago when was it 3 years ago, 4 years ago when Ime Udoka was the coach.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah. It's a huge accomplishment. They're really fucking good.
Yeah. Peyton Pritchard becoming 6th man of the year candidate / winner. Great for them. Sam Hauser continues just to be a good regular season player. Maybe playoffs. Lee Cornett, just to back up.
There you go. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
That is so fine.
And obviously, let's say one of the Jays misses a night, the other Jay can step up.
The other Jay can step up, and Derek White can give you 20 on any given night, and Drew can still give you 20, and Horford is still like a great role guy.
I was watching him a bit today against the Orlando Magic, and what was possibly one of the worst basketball games I've seen ever.
Yeah, 76-96. I saw that today.
Yeah, I saw that score at the end, and I was like, fourth quarter. Like, I remember they just starting the fourth quarter. A lot of it, Torrey Craig got to go get us a bucket. He plays for Boston, by the way.
God.
He was like on a 10-day.
That takes me back.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
How is the food in Guangdong, Torrey Craig?
Brooklyn Nets, their number was set at 21, and the number was set at 21 and a half. We both hit the under, but they won 25 games and maybe even one today if they're lucky at us. They were just too good. They're 26 wins. They were just too good to start the year. It's weird to say that a lineup with Cam Thomas, Dennis Schroeder, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Ben Simmons beat the Bucks on Game 3 of the season. But I think this is more like Jordi Fernandez putting himself in that realm of like Mark Daigneault and Will Hardy, where it's like, yeah, you're the coach at the start of a rebuild. You're going to have some leftover pieces from when you traded everyone away and you really like tore everything down. A good coach just manages to do something with the island of misfit toys. And like we're seeing that now with Will Hardy, where like the Utah Jazz are like, can we just pretend one of our tall white guys has an injury because we just literally cannot give him a shooter right now. We need him to play.
Yeah, Kyle Flipkowski, knee soreness.
Yeah, as soon as you've taken injuries for Kyle Flipkowski, it's like, man. But Jordi Fernandez just sort of, I guess he let the front office and let the fans know that he's a really good coach. And the downside is they're not going to. Well, they have lower odds of winning the lottery. They're currently the 6th seed in the lottery, and they're going to be the 6th seed by the time the season's over. So yeah, I guess if they don't go on that hot streak to start the season, they don't go over 21 and a half.
It's just so crazy the last sort of 3 years in particular, like how much you have to commit to the bit if you want to be one of the worst 3 teams in the league. Like if you don't try actively to lose every single possible game, you won't, and you will be so far removed from the bottom. Like the I mean, you know, kind of bearing the lead a little bit, but the Brooklyn Nets have been so fucking bad, and they've won 26 games, which is 9 more than the Wizards and 7 more than the Hornets. Like 2 teams who just decided they were going to be really bad from the outset. But like if you have even halfway decent role players and an NBA coach, not to mention that Dennis Schroeder was here for the first half of the season and was averaging like 27 points.
Also, like the Pelicans and the 76ers, like they were trying to win games at the start, got really unlucky, and they quickly pivoted when they had to make that choice. And the Brooklyn Nets, because they were winning games, or maybe New Orleans would have wanted to win games. They just can't do it. Drew Timme is playing 30 minutes a game for him down the end of the season. Did you know that?
I did see that he scored his first career points. Good for him.
Can you try and name, if you don't have the box score in front of you, can you try and name the starters for the Brooklyn Nets in their win over the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday?
Let's say like fucking Isaiah Whitehead at the point.
Derek Whitehead. It came off the bench 25 minutes.
Okay. I wonder what Isaiah Whitehead's up to these days. No, I don't know. Fucking Noah Clowney isn't there?
No, Noah Clowney, DNP right ankle sprain.
Yeah, there we go. God, pushing me even for Nets players like Claxton is still starting. Good for him.
Good for him. Streak.
Yeah, I'm gonna give up on this one. Cam Johnson's injured. I know that.
Injured, yeah. So Isaiah Williams, you probably know.
Yeah,
Trendon Watford.
yeah.
You know. You probably don't know Jalen Wilson or Reece Beekman. Tosan Evbovma. I feel a little bit rude mispronouncing for his name. But that's a human being who played 30 minutes in a basketball game. The Charlotte Hornets, their number was set at 27.5, as you mentioned, 19 wins. That's shit.
So bad.
We won't get the over. Brandon Miller, this was his second year. Yeah, Brandon Miller started the year good and was a good wing. He was making a lot of shots. I had him on fantasy.
Taking a lot of shots though.
Taking a lot of shots. That's fine. I think if you wear the teal, you have to take a lot of shots. The LaMelo Ball, God, the jury has been out for a few years now. What the hell? Who is he? Like, can he lead a good team? Because he simply hasn't before. Unless you count 39 games playing victory one.
Yeah, no.
It's just like the people started talking about fake LaMelo Ball trades. Where do you want to go with this show? I want to say that this is 8 wins lower.
This, I think, is the worst talent level of any team in the league outside of LaMelo.
Mm-hmm. We thought that they were going to be kind of all right. Like, they got Miles Bridges back, Josh Green. He's got flaws, but he's a rotation player.
Yeah, but I think Josh Green had probably his worst season in the last couple of years. They drafted 6th overall and just got nothing from Tijon Salon. They traded, they brought in a few players who were on, in small roles in other teams. Like, they brought in Micic, who is this guy can average 6 assists in 15 minutes a game when he plays for the Thunder. And then they brought him over and it's he can still do that, but he's shit at everything else. Get this, European white point guard, great at passing, not good at anything else. Where have I seen that before? The Miller thing, he went down, he must have only played 25 or 30 games. So he went down early. I don't think that he was necessarily helping them to win games, but, checking out his developmental opportunities by taking and, as you mentioned, making quite a lot of shots. Next season, if they're shit again with no discernible talent upgrade, probably is when you start to see LaMelo looking around and being he's going to be 25. He
will be 24 next year.
Okay.
So young.
God, could you imagine what he looked like in Golden State?
God. He looked a lot like Brandon Jemsky. Because I knew that there wouldn't be much to talk about here with the Charlotte Hornets, I want you to name me the top 5 Charlotte Hornets in total minutes played this year.
Well, I'm not gonna try and get this in order.
Yeah.
So Bridges and Ball.
Correct. So that's 1 and 3.
Yeah. Okay. So someone in there in between them. It'd be crazy if Brandon Miller was in there.
No, Brandon Miller is 11th.
Okay.
In 27 games.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know. We gonna go with Mark Williams in there?
Mark Williams 7.
7?
In 43 games.
Nick Richards?
Richards is core. Sorry. Sorry, Nick Richards.
Not it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I gave it up a bit. Nick Smith Jr. is 4th.
Oh man. That's right. They've got all those little guards who so clearly are not going to be in the NBA next season.
Josh Green's 2.
Josh Green is 2.
And 5 is Moussa Diabate.
I was going to say Moussa Diabate. I'm shocked at Josh Green being in there.
Yeah. I guess if you just he's played 68 games. If you just play basketball games, Moussa Diabate is leading the team in games with 70. Bit of progress stick. I like it.
Moussa Diabate did big things for me in my one game streaming him on fantasy this season. So
there you go.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bulls, their number was set at 30.5. We both hit the under because they have to keep their pick that they owe to the San Antonio Spurs, top 10 protected. Incorrect. 36 wins. They were one of, I want to say, two non-Western Conference teams who were trying, and obviously it's easy to win games when you're one of you're one of the 10 out of 30 teams trying this late in the season. So yeah, they have actually had quite a post All-Star / post deadline surge. Not because they picked up anyone too flash hot in the trade deadline. They picked up Zach Collins and Kevin Hurt.
Well, they also picked up that top 10 protected pick back that you mentioned.
Insane.
By trading away their best player.
Yeah.
They got their own pick back.
So they can draft Christine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Josh Giddey and Kobe White are the backbone of the next 5 play-in pushes.
God, how much are you paying Josh Giddey now based on his last 1 month of basketball versus how much you were paying him before?
I'm always a bit like thrown off by this new meta, like the new economy. So like in old,
it's crazy because 5 years ago the discussion was completely different. Like the money is completely dissociated from where it has been.
Yeah. So like is he going to get Kent Bazemore money in 2016? Right?
God, I could go some Kent Bazemore money. 6 for 6, 4 for 64.
Yeah. Literally, at the time I was like, wow, you've just ruined your franchise.
Yeah.
But Giddey is going to get 100, 150.
I would say it would start at 100, but I would be venturing that it would probably be closer to like 130.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's heaps of money. 5 years, 130.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he looks great right now, but then he's going to start the season next year. Every team's going to be locked in trying to win a game, and it's like, let's say game 1 is against the Charlotte Hornets. They're going to have whoever they drafted, and they're going to say, cool, all right, Josh Green, Brandon Miller, this is the gameplay for Josh Giddey, blocking remains.
The best thing that could happen for the Bulls is if they actually advance through the play-in and make the playoffs, because then there's 4 games for the Boston Celtics or Cleveland Cavaliers to expose him as someone who's not going to be defended by a good team when it actually matters. That's the only thing that can dampen his market right now.
That's really funny. God, he's going to get paid so much money. Anything you want to talk about the Bulls? Like, it's just twice.
Nah, but like, yeah, like, let's make a reminder to ourselves not to do this next year. Like, hit the over.
What if the number's set at 36? Because you have
hit it. Hit it.
Push.
No, just like, there's no logic that applies with this team other than that they will continue to do what they've done for the past 7 years. Like that, at this point, that much is clear.
Yeah. They got Vooch. I'm still going to have Vooch next year.
Lucky them. He's owed a lot of money.
Matas has been playing well. Matas was a good rookie of the year pick by LSU. Seriously.
No, yeah. Well, in this economy, I think it was you or Marco who said in the chat a couple of weeks ago that Matas Pizelis looks like a crypto scammer.
Yeah.
So true.
I just hate that the one thing we all know about him is that he's really rude to other people. Is
that the one thing that we all know about him?
Yeah, at the draft, he's like crying, like, oh my God, my dreams come true. And they're like, we hear you like to crap talk, like, what are you going to say to your first matchup? And he's like, oh, I guess I'll like say I'm better than him. And oh man, let him have his moment. Yeah, he'll have each time to shit talk.
Yeah.
And there's a big shit talk.
Yeah.
That's useless information. That's just living up in my head.
Yeah, good for him.
Cleveland Cavaliers, their number was set at 47.5. We both hit the over. We both said, man, I reckon they're going to revolutionize their offense. They're going to take the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hands. They're going to give it to Evan Mobley, and they're going to win 62 plus games because that's exactly what they did. James Borrego, biggest star. Wasn't busy covering himself in glory. This is incredible.
Yeah. This is incredible. And yeah, like it's awesome that alphabetically Cleveland and Detroit are right next to each other, because I wanted to.
Still is not the word I would use.
I want to discuss these two teams sort of in conjunction, but it really does appear. This is a broader comment about both these teams. It really does appear that JB Bickerstaff is literally just the most fucking accurately typecast coach in NBA history. He will take your shit young team from 24 wins to 49 wins and a first round playoff exit, and he can never get them any further. and then he will leave and he will do it again. And like, it's so fucking perfect, man, that he leaves and Detroit goes from 14 wins to at least 43 wins. And then the guy that replaces him takes the Cleveland Cavaliers from 3 disappointing player performances in a row to literally revolutionize, and they have fucking 4 All-NBA guys and the Defensive Player of the Year, and all of a sudden Evan Mobley is like a top 10 player in the league and fucking, you know, kind of crazy. But we were talking about Mobley at various points last season as like, this guy just is not being used in an effective way and is not being like encouraged to expand his game in a positive way, because all he was doing was fucking shooting corner threes last year. And they were like, yeah, this is the next step. And actually, you just need to kind of get him involved, get him at the nail, get him at the elbows, DHOs, let him actually fucking like attack off the short roll. Garland was awesome. Allen has just been like one of the most consistently good to great players in the NBA over the past like 5 years. Like, he's just always does exactly what he's supposed to do. And Mitchell will continue to be good. Plus, like, you know, Jerome has been really good. Strus, since he came back from injury, has been really good. Hunter, the addition, is really good.
Those Miami role players, because now Gabe Vincent's playing well again in Miami, and it's like in LA. I feel like he wasn't fitting into his role as the 5th best player on the LA team, but now he's gone back to being the 6th, 7th, 8th best player. So, I'll kill it here. Like, you want me to get wide open threes? Of course.
Yeah.
Max Strus, like last year, he was there last year, and it was just like, you know, he's just not that guy. He clearly got his money after those finals runs. And then I was like, oh, cool, you actually expect nothing of him, and it's incredible to have something from it. Now, even DeAndre Hunter's there as well.
Yeah.
Did you know DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome are best friends, and they were roommates at Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I did know that.
I got a few trivia questions for this.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Kenny Atkinson. He was the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, and he took the job with the Charlotte Hornets and then rescinded his...
He backed out.
Backed out, and thank goodness he did, because we're just talking about how, like, when you were talking about the Charlotte Hornets before, I was thinking a bit like, should they just like sell that team and like move that one to Las Vegas instead of bringing in two new teams? Yeah, incredible business decision by Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the year. Detroit Pistons, 22.5. We both hit the over. I can't remember how optimistic we were, but I doubt we were 43 wins optimistic.
No, but I think we were just like, fuck, man. You have to choose to win less than 22 games. That's a choice.
Yeah.
It doesn't just accidentally happen unless like Joel Embiid gets injured and Paul George is terrible, and then you might come close. And clearly Detroit last year didn't want to lose 14 games, but they did. Do you remember who started the season last year as Detroit's head coach on a 5-year, $70 million contract?
Yeah. Well, it was the first Jamie Bickerstaff, because Jamie was gainfully employed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. MB Williams, Monty Borrego Williams. Yeah, literally crazy. Like, Detroit clearly didn't want to be bad. We knew that because they fucking gave Tobias Harris $54 million.
Yeah.
But what did they do? They brought in Beasley, who had a disappointing season last year with the Bucks. I think they brought in Hardaway Jr.
Yeah, but they gave up Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
To get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 11 months later looks like a bad decision.
We'll see. Like,
yeah, true.
You know, Quentin Grimes like doing it on a terrible team with nothing to play for when he's able to play 36 minutes a game. Like,
did you see who's the Senegalese white power forward?
White power forward?
Yeah.
Oh, he's from Senegal. Really?
Isn't it obvious?
They call him like the fucking minivan.
Yeah. They've got him some minivans. So he just got like, crossed over by Quentin Grimes, and then Quentin Grimes on flint talking shoot as he like walks.
They call him the G-Wagon.
As he walks. Is that true?
Yeah, the G-Wagon. That's what Bing.com says. He's American. His father was born and raised in Senegal.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah, pretty good trivia question.
Sadio Mane and Georges Niang.
But yeah, so
Sadio Mane.
Georges Niang got crossed over, and then it couldn't go as much to say something as he went to the free throw line, and then the mic picked up perfectly as Georges Niang was like, if Joel was healthy, he'd be playing 6 minutes and he'd be sitting down for the whole day. And Quentin Graham said nothing back to it.
Yeah.
Like, speak up for yourself, man.
We've got to get Matas Bazelis in there.
It's a good bit. So they got Tim Hardaway Jr. just on a salary dump.
Yeah. And Cade, I think Cade is solidly an all-star level player. I think he's like a mid-tier all-star in the East. Cade probably wouldn't have made the all-star team if he was in the West, but in the East, if your best player is an East all-star, you can win 43 games. Yeah. Duran has been really good. They fucking missed Ivy for the whole year, but Beasley stepped into that really well. Harris was good most of the year.
It's very much now that he's not on a championship contending team, it's this is where he needs to be.
Yeah.
He needs to put up 13 to 14 points.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Can I just talk about Malik Beasley for a bit? He's currently 7th all-time in single-season threes made.
What, in NBA history?
In NBA history.
With what number? 300 and something?
305.
Are you looking at the whole list?
I'm looking at
How far ahead of Curry is he against himself in terms of 1 and 2?
You're going to have to reword that one.
Didn't he hit 480 in a season once?
Steph hit 402.
402. And the next?
Next is James Harden, 378. Next is Steph Curry, 357. Next is Steph Curry, 354. Next is Steph Curry, 337. Next is Steph Curry, 324. Malik Beasley, 305. So, yeah, Malik Beasley has beaten 5 Steph Curry seasons, but he trails 5 as well.
Kind of crazy though that Harden got within 25 of Steph, but no one else got in within 25 of Harden. There's only 2 people ever who've got over 360.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's such a big gap.
No one's Stephen Harden. I tell you what, Malik Beasley is currently tied 7th with Ant Edwards this year. They both have 305.
That's crazy. This is really the strangest timeline.
Steph Curry got to 300 threes today in a loss against the Spurs. That's his 6th time getting over 300. No one else has more than 1 over 300.
Yeah.
Clay did it once.
Not even Harden.
Harden only once.
So Harden
got 299.
You know what? He deserves that.
Yeah, Malik Beasley, this is incredible. Last year's Dante DiVincenzo's up there as well. Yeah, this is you're right. This is a crazy timeline. I'm just trying to find this year Derek White 262, so he's second or tied third.
So Malik Beasley just
300 for Malik Beasley. Sorry, it's just sort of hit me. That's a lot of threes.
Yeah,
and he couldn't hit anything in his last 3 stops.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to find the fucking.
You telling you when he was the best player and he stopped him from the team?
Low key. Last year, what number did it start with?
3, 6.
It actually started with a 4, and the next number was a 1, and the next number was a 3, and then this year he's increased his. This is really interesting. He's increased his attempts by 2.4 per game and his makes by 1.1, which if you do the maths quickly, that's over 40%. What number does it start with this year?
39.
It starts with a 4.
Whoa.
And the next number is a 1.
And then a 3.
And then a 3.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So last year he was panned as dog shit.
Yeah.
Remember in the cup final when Tyrese Halliburton pointed to the ground and Malik Beasley bolted in that direction, but there was no screen. He faked him out.
I don't remember that.
So Halliburton's holding the ball, hasn't dribbled yet. He calls for a screen. There's absolutely nobody within 5 meters of him, and Beasley bolts to hedge the screen, but he bumps into nothing, and Halliburton walks to the rim.
In terms of cup final moments, for me, it's not quite up there with Drogba in the 2012 Champions League final, but it sounds like a good moment nonetheless.
Do you remember who won the cup this year?
The Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
Did you read this ads? The Miami Heat, 44.5. We both went under. Thank Christ we did. 36 wins.
Wait, what's going on here?
What do you mean?
You fucking skipped at the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, whoops. Indiana Pacers, 46.5. We both went over. Thank Christ we did. 48. This was a lot tighter than I thought.
So do you remember going over confidently?
No, I don't. Did I?
No, I'm
I
asking.
was just talking. That was just, yeah.
Right.
No, I don't remember the mood in the room when we talked about the Indiana Pacers over-unders. But we're sitting just on those seats, actually. 48 wins. It's incredible they got to 48, and it is just a true testament to the freaking Eastern Conference. Like, this team was bad, and they gave everyone every opportunity to pass them, and they're going to finish with the 4 seed.
Yeah, like, and comfortably the 4 seed as well.
This is incredible.
This team might win 50 games. It's actually still on the table.
And they don't deserve 50 wins.
No.
And I'm not just saying that because I don't think they're good, but it's like they got however many games out of Miles Turner, who's their best defensive center. They are overpaying TJ and Obadiah Tofen to come off the bench and just be bad players on.
TJ is a good player.
Sure, right? Like, is he Ty Jerome?
Yeah.
Sure, right? Okay, I guess.
Like, yeah, that's probably a great comp, actually.
But, like, Pascal Siakam might be this team's best player?
No, I think Tyrese, particularly over the second half of the season, is better. Mm-hmm. And he also has a skill that is harder to find. Like, he's...
Off-dribble threadies, or...
No, like, just his ability to be, like, the complete... He's one of only a few players in the league whose personality as a player becomes the offensive play style for that team.
Yeah.
That's pretty, like, it's almost an intangible thing. Yeah. His ability to just be like go all the time, and to be like looking for the hit ahead and that sort of thing. This team could win 50 games. The Beal Wall Washington Wizards never won more than 49. So
famously also in the East.
Yeah. Famously also in the East.
Yeah, so they beat the Bucks in round 1. I think they'll get the Cavs now. They're not going to make another stupid Eastern Conference run.
They could beat the Bucks in round 1 and then get swept 3-0. They'd fucking call off the 4th game.
That'd be the most depressing home game ever. No one wears the shirts. 44.5, we both picked the under, they're 136. The Jimmy Butler, there were questions around whether he was going to care at the start of the season. There was the whole stuff with him and Pat Riley. Like, there was a report every single day, something new. Someone's pissed off at something.
Yeah, they suspended him for multiple games twice for conduct detrimental to the team.
Do you remember there was the
Where's he playing now?
Golden State? The straw that broke the camel's back was that one league.
The booth that broke the Calvin's back.
Have you seen all the stuff on Twitter about Calvin Booth?
No, not on Twitter.
So someone was like, yeah, there's this one graphic where Calvin, obviously, he's a very ugly man, right?
Hold on, let me go on Bing.com.
Someone says, just learning today that Calvin Booth looks like someone photoshopped Nicolas Cage's face onto Mike Brown. And this is my favorite.
That's exactly what it looks like.
This is my favorite. A favorite one says, the amount of effort you got to go through to have your black Dark Souls character not look like Calvin Booth. It's an enormous effort. I've always hated it for that.
The Nicolas Cage thing is actually uncanny. That's exactly what he looks like.
He's so ugly. And now we've got these reports where it's like he's on the phone like, play Jalen Pickett, and the old coach is like, I'm going to play Russ because he's an all-star and MVP. And can you just imagine Calvin Booth just like, his heart's palpitating, he's stressing a little bit, like, play Jalen Pickett, man. Then you just look at his head and he looks like that. I couldn't imagine a worse room to be in. There's someone stressed on the phone yelling at someone to play Jalen Pickett. Anything like that. The other one here, fucking Talia is back to... Oh, he was an all-star.
Yeah.
Back to all-star form. He fell off from the scorching hot he started. Andrew Wiggins, I thought, was going to be a great fit with them. But he's got a bit of Tobias Harris in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like Tyler Hero, Wiggins, Bam. That's a kind of all right 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
If you're in the East and you want to win 40 games.
Yeah.
And they've got 36 wins.
Yeah. I mean, the Tyler Hero thing, like, again, he wouldn't have been an all-star if he was in the West. Like, he wouldn't have even fucking been in consideration if he was in the West. He would have been the 21st best player in the West, you know? But the timing of all-star is, like, so cooked sometimes. Because just walk through this example with me. Tyler Hero is playing really well, right? His final numbers weren't... he averaged like roughly 23, 5 and 5, pretty good shooting splits. He was averaging 24, 6 and 6, 8, whatever. It's pretty much the same thing. His performance through the first half of the season in the East put him like solidly in the All-Star discussion. Franz Wagner played 24 games before he went down with his injury, and he was like firmly in the All-Star discussion. By the time the All-Star game rolled around, when it's like 50 games played, they were like, Franz has only played 24, like we can't let him in, we can't let him into the All-Star game. Then fucking Tyler Hero, like this relatively mid player, not to say mid in terms of like he's bang average, but as far as like great NBA players go, like he's not really a great NBA player. You get to this point in the season and it's like Tyler Hero and Franz Wagner have like kind of had the same season. Their teams are both mid. Neither of them are going to be considered for All-NBA because frankly when they have been on the court they haven't played at an All-NBA level. They've had the exact same fucking season, but Tyler Hero gets an all-star out of it, and someone like Wagner, who's going to end up with having played like 65 games or 63 games or whatever, like wouldn't be... He's going to come away from this season with like nothing. But Tyler Hero, of all people, comes away with an all-star. It just doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah, and also like Wagner played international. Did he win the World Cup, or was this an Olympic year?
Isn't the Olympics in the even years?
Yeah. Was it a World Cup that he just won or something?
Oh, well, last year was an even year, so he must have, yeah. Germany won something recently.
Something. I could be completely wrong, but it's like if it's probably a good reason why he didn't start the season. I think I'm completely wrong. So let's move on.
Make
a note to ourselves to delete that. Milwaukee Bucks number was set at 51.5. You went under. I went over. You got it right. God,
I actually forgot that this was even a competition because I think we just went the same.
This is the first
disagreement. That's really taken. I forgot about the competitive element of this. I thought we were just talking about it.
Convenience. Dante's up 1 point. For those playing along at home, Dante is now up 3 all time. Cam Sean cuts that. Why don't you go over? Lillard, was that high?
51's pretty low. 51.5 is pretty low. It's the fucking East, bro.
This is my gift.
Yeah, it's the East. Like, yeah. Middleton was still there and was rehabbing off of his injury-riddled season last year. Lopez was still there. They traded. They signed Gary Trent, and it was like, could Gary Trent be?
I didn't like that.
All-time L letting Beasley go and bringing Gary Trent in his place.
Well, what number did it start with for GT?
God.
I reckon he's on the top 10 of all time.
Something.
I'll look it up. You keep.
Something tells me not. I mean, this team.
Torian Prince? Oh my god, 41.5.
But what is the other one?
What's the first number?
Yeah.
43.1.
Yeah. That's pretty much Beasley. That's pretty much Beasley's numbers though. This team is currently on 44 wins. They probably wouldn't have won 52 even if Lillard had stayed healthy and had not been ruled out with deep vein thrombosis, the NBA's new most fashionable injury. But like they traded Middleton for Kuzma. Kuzma's been shit. Turns out actually that if you play for 2.5 years on the Washington Wizards, you can't just get traded to a serious basketball team and turn it on.
Kuzma was shooting 29% from 3 in a Bucks uniform.
On like, you have to imagine when he's playing with the, not that I was, closely monitoring Kuzma's shot quality. You have to imagine when he was playing with Lillard that he's taking easier threes than he was in
Jordan Poole's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. God, the East is so depressing. Like, these teams just don't crack.
Bro, Doc Rivers is the coach of this basketball team. It's 2025.
There's no identity there.
We're literally mere years away from AI taking over our whole society, and Doc Rivers is still the coach of Giannis's basketball team.
But yeah, it's just very depressing. It's like, best of luck, Giannis. Like, yeah, I hope you love cheese and beer. Well, that's not a horrible question, actually.
Yeah.
New York Knicks
do worse.
set at 54.5. We both picked over. They are currently at 50 wins. Man, you 51?
51.
No, 50.
50.
So really been healthy enough. Written here that Tibbs has managed to put together some great lineups without a lot of the main crew. That's not that he's finding talent on the fringes of the roster. That's just that he's distributing those minutes amongst the other 8 people.
The Tibbs playing his starters 38 minutes a game average is the Bulls always going for it level of don't fucking bet again. Like, this is never going to change.
Mikal Bridges came out and said, "Hey, can you stop playing me 70 minutes? I'm about to break the all-time record for games played, and you're going to hurt me." Jalen Brunson, another spectacular season. I've written here that I think it'll be a bit stiff if he misses out on the second team All-NBA. I think he deserves it. And the guy who people have been talking about taking his spot is Steph, having a great season, but it's been a lot of the post-Jimmy Butler acquisitions. If you look at the first 2/3 of the season, Jalen Brunson is the much deserving player on top of him.
Yeah.
Over him.
Jalen Brunson missed a bunch of time, though.
Yeah. How many games has he played? Over 65, so...
Yeah, I think he missed 15 games in the final third of the season, though, which is exactly when Steph was kind of turning it on with Jimmy Butler.
And you can't do a Sam Hickey and watch games back to front. It's like Cat has now been part of, I think last time I checked, the Knicks like 15th in defense and like quite high up in offense. And they've put together a good defense with Karl Anthony Towns that doesn't involve having the defensive player of the year next to him. There's something to be said for that. Now it's going to be very interesting to see what they can do in the in playoffs.
They've played the Celtics well this year.
Yeah, actually, they only played them. They played them healthy for the first time ever. Sorry, I've just looked up. They're 13th in defense using basketball references numbers, which that's quite good considering you've just got Cat and then some undersized guys like Og and Mikhail. Do you want to say anything about the Knicks?
They played the Celtics well. They played the Cavs poorly.
Yeah.
So
that started the year they were like 0-5 against the top teams.
Yeah.
They lost to the Thunder.
I mean, who can blame them? So they're pretty much locked into number 3. Yeah. Well, they're not locked in because, as we've mentioned before, the Indiana Pacers could reach 50 wins this season. So they would be looking at playing Detroit. That would be an interesting series. I would expect that to be a gentleman's.
Yeah.
And then they're in the same bracket as Boston. For
JB Big Stuff's first playoff win if he gets a gentleman.
Okay, I like where you're going. They're in the Boston bracket for the second round. So,
well, it's either the Boston bracket or the Cavs bracket.
Yeah, but I'm saying they want to be in the Boston bracket.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is they want to be in the bracket of the team that won 58 versus the team that won 64.
Well, congratulations to the Knicks for being a 50-win team. Remember when they won 50 with Melo? And it's like, way back. And it's like, now it's like...
We're still fucking talking about it. They won 50 with Melo.
Orlando Magic, this was very shocking. 47.5, we both hit the over because they just added one of the best 3-and-D role players to their core that was up and coming. They currently have 38 wins.
So bad.
No, it's 40. They've won 2 games. They're 40-40, which is treadmill territory. What makes this team any different to the Atlanta Hawks apart from control of your own draft? Because it's like...
They have more players who you can...
Higher upside. Franz and Paolo over Trey.
I'm not necessarily saying higher upside. I'm saying more... Like, I think probably, yes, higher upside, but more that you can see how these players fit into a good team.
Well, let's say you're starting a franchise from ground floor. Would you rather Trey and Jalen Johnson or Franz and Paolo?
Probably Franz and Paolo. Because, like we've seen two big skillful wings have success recently in
Ever, yeah.
yeah, like it's a recipe for success. But like Suggs is a player who you can see playing like a Derek White kind of role on a great team. Yeah, well I just looked up, he's played 35 games this season, but he was awesome. He was awesome for them defensively and as just like as a mover on offense. Like he's hitting in transition, he's shooting threes, he's cutting.
Just getting in, yeah.
This team is awesome defensively. Like they were one of the handful of best defenses all year, but they have no reliable shooting. KCP didn't prove to be that. Like what number does it start with?
Yeah.
And no real reliable option at center either offensively. Like Wendell Carter Jr. finished the season starting at center, but like for the middle chunk of the season, Goga was starting and doing a really good job, and then he got concussed and just apparently like has never been able to play again since.
Yeah, he was a good player. Picked him up when you went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you finish the year with it?
No, he got concussed and like
How to play basketball. I am discounting the Jalen Suggs element because it's you've lost your penetrating ball handler.
But still, like they're that like they've got the Cole Anthony and they've got like the Anthony Black. Like they have all these fucking random guards. That's like surely one of you
Figure it out. You're in the East.
Yeah, like seriously, where are the Nick Smith Juniors of the world when you need them? The Magic really need a point guard, I think, or at least another offensive player who can handle the ball and shoot threes, because Paolo, Franz has like a bit more of a appropriate modern shot profile for a 6'9" wing, but Paolo really fucking likes to not shoot threes and not get to the rim that much.
Yeah, you need, and you've now passed the time of like, hey, one of our guys might break out. It's like, no, you need to trade for Ed Fernie's hours or something. Like, you can't keep doing this. And if that takes giving up Jalen Suggs, maybe I think you pull the trigger.
That being said, like, needs to be mentioned that they were without both Franz and Paolo for a significant chunk of the season, and you have to give Paolo and Franz like a bit of leeway for working their way back in from serious injury.
Yeah. So if everyone was healthy, they would be where the Indiana Pacers.
If they did like one cool thing in the offseason, I might hit the over again next year.
Their cool move would be like, get on 2K tomorrow and play with it. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Philadelphia 76ers, and I was set at 52.5. That's huge.
What did you do for that, Sean?
And under. I said it's due. Because we just didn't trust the health of all their players, and holy crap, we look great.
That is actually not even why I went under. I don't have the exact vibe of the room from when I went under on the Philadelphia 76ers, but I think that it would be actually no. Now that I think about it, I'll give myself some credit. I was always down on the Paul George acquisition, particularly from a health upside perspective. So maybe you're right.
Do you want to know something I said on that podcast about Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah, what'd you say?
His new haircut.
Yeah.
He said that he got rid of the dreads and he was just like, slicking it back. And he goes, I can actually see the corners while I'm walking to the pavement. Yeah. And I'm going to be a much better passer. And he was. He's now missing a game with a mysterious finger injury. I hope he can recover from that and be ready for next season.
God.
Thanks to the 4th pick in the draft. He averaged 6.1 assists this season, which is just shy of a career high. He was number 1 in most improved player last year. Did he win it? There's whatever the number is next year, I'm picking the under. And how do you set this number next year? Because they're either going to win 20 or 50, right? You can't set it at 30 because...
Yeah, he could win 38 because what if Joel gets half of a season?
Yeah, but I feel
What if he comes back healthy and then he gets hurt again?
He shouldn't have played. He shouldn't have played for the Team USA. Yeah,
well, we're now 2 seasons removed from him being healthy.
Why do I think the Olympics was 6 months ago?
Like, was it not though?
2024 last year. Yeah, Tokyo 2020. The fucking Olympics were last year.
It was in France.
Yeah. The Olympics were just before because they set the Olympics based on the NBA.
Yeah, he should not have played for Team USA. You're either concerned about his health or you're a racist. Did you know he was born in Cameroon?
Just playing at home. Dutton called me a racist. Just someone who doesn't believe in getting rid of pencils. Yeah, he just down the road from George's Niang's father.
He's having fucking surgery.
Sure, yeah.
Like, no, he is.
That's fuck. He's had his second surgery.
Arthroscopic surgery next week on his left knee.
The term arthroscopic is stupid. It makes it seem small, but you're still cutting a human's knee open and doing something to it.
But what's the surgery on?
Is there?
Yeah, but there's bits.
Yeah, I've also heard the term debris talked about his knee.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do you have debris? But you've got mainly ligament injuries.
I've got nice and tidy.
The eternities.
Nice and tidy.
Lynch.
Menisc, and it's just a lot less now than there has been in the past. But it's not like fucking hanging loose. Like it
doesn't grow back. It just gets tough.
No, like they cut it away, and then once it doesn't come back. Once you lose it, you lose it.
So you have no meniscus.
I've got a small meniscus in my right knee. Wow. Yeah.
Now it's like the move is definitely dead now.
Yeah, I know. Far out.
Team to finish the East. Toronto Raptors 30.5. We both hit the under. They're currently on 29 wins. Or 30, sorry. They're on 30 wins.
Bro, you know this fucking team traded away OG Anunoby and they got fucking Rowan Barrett back.
Rowan Barrett's touching his ceiling and it's just bad.
Yeah, and quickly, like, he didn't play all year.
Well, at the start. Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah. This Masai Ujiri is just erasing all the goodwill he gained in the first 5 years of his career.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
But he had a pretty goated, 2012 to 2019 run. And since then, it's actually been uniformly terrible.
It's really bad.
Yeah. You know who else is looking pretty bad from that timeline? The coach of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Nick Nurse?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because what's he done?
What's he done since...
He got carried by Kawhi Leonard to the 2019 ring.
He was the first boxer one ever.
Man, he rolls out something that I was fucking doing at Kobe Basketball Stadium in 2014, and all of a sudden it's fucking, throw a parade.
Yeah, I guess some people are saying there's some murmurs about him getting fired in Philly because it's somewhat interpersonal issues, but it's also Jared Butler and Justin Edwards, what the fuck do we do? Why are those people pissed off at you?
Those are the interpersonal issues?
No, well, it's but they're the dudes playing 36 minutes for him, and then there's all this interpersonal stuff.
Why is Jared Butler upset that he's playing 36 minutes?
I don't know, it's just, there seems to be people upset with coach, but it's what are you upset at, man? You've got no one to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's no need for Nick Nurse erasure. to use your last system. We're not racists here. Yeah, I don't know. The big treadmill vibes.
Major treadmill vibes. Can't wait to get out. Can't wait to get out of the East.
That's the Sting. No, sorry, that's Sting, not the Sting.
On the Dire Straits record.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So funny when they put that song on Instagram with Shaq fucking DJing. Have you seen that? You got to get on my algorithm, bro. It's fucking absolutely class.
Washington Wizards 22.5. We both hit the under, and they've got 17 wins.
So bad.
And if I told you the following things, would you believe that this team wins fewer than 23 games? Jordan Poole has kind of bounced back season. Bub Carrington and Kai Sean George are solid basketball players. Alex Sarr is an on-court defensive positive. I think his offensive rating's bad, and his defensive rating is just touching it. Oh, average, not bad. Chris Middleton would play 14 plus games, and Brogdon would play 24 plus games for this team. 17 wins is so little.
So little.
All the goodwill and all the hype after the first week of the year. It's like, Bilal Koulibaly is the next defensive player of the year. He full wasn't.
Yeah.
I was saying, I was maybe on this couch.
Bilal Koulibaly, 12 points in 34 minutes challenge, level impossible.
Yeah.
I had something to say about the Washington Wizards, but oh, you know who they could have really used? Denny Avdia.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about Danny in the West.
Oh, we will talk about Denny in the West.
Turbo amnesia.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Lucas Petreitis, if you're listening to this right now.
60 calories empty. Yeah, dude. Well, I'm going to hit stop on the
Yeah, let's take a bloody break.
break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Western Conference.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
The NBA moves so quickly these days, it's hard to keep up. Shams and Woj are breaking stories left and right, but the Quick Time Out is right there with them to keep you informed on the latest NBA news. Stop in and let us break it down as it happens. Find the Quick Time Out on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
Good.
Thanks, man. And we're back. And potentially you just listen to Dire Straits' Money for Nothing fade into us say we're back.
Jeez, I hope so.
Do you want to give us the partics for this conference? Or you?
Yeah, and I'll just repeat a comment that I made to you when we were off air just before. It's so crazy that that's too much punch to learn up. It's crazy that the first letter,
So serious.
alphabetically, in the Western Conference is the Dallas Mavericks, whose particulars I'll give you in just a second. But they start with D, famously. And in the Eastern Conference, there's no fewer than 6 teams that start with an A, a B, or a C. Mainly an A and a B. Can you just Celtics there for a second? So that's just one fun difference between the conferences. But the main differences between these conferences is that the West is actually good. So let's start with a pretty meat team. Dallas Mavericks, their over-under was set at 50.5, and they have 38 wins.
Oh.
You may recall that they started the season with Luka Doncic employed, and they did not end the season with Luka Doncic employed.
For the purposes of this conversation, I don't think we can actually talk too much about the Dallas Mavericks or the LA Lakers because it's just so unforeseen. This would never have come into our periphery. What are we doing?
Who's playing point for this team next year?
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Surely not.
No, they'll sign someone to the mid-level because it can't be Dante Exum. He simply can't, he doesn't have that skill set.
No, not a point guard. He's a basketball player. You know, he's like one of those. He's like in college football when there's like a guy that everyone likes. Yeah, it's pretty good, but we didn't know what position he plays. They just call him an athlete.
What the fuck are you talking about? Surely, I'm not even going to get into that.
Don't pull that thread.
Yeah, all right, let me type in free agent point guards 2025 off season.
Could this be like, would they dare like use an asset to trade for Anthony Simons or something like that and try and have him run the point for the first part of the season whilst Kyrie's out? Don't forget, this team traded for Anthony Davis because they wanted to win now.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten.
They bring in like a point guard or combo guard of that ilk. And supplement Kyrie when he returns.
It would have to be a mid-level guy. Like, it would have to be Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Paul, Karis LeVert, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has only ever wanted more and more money. Trey Jones, is he on a minimum or mid-level again? He plays for Chicago, by the way.
Yeah. Chris Jones is on a will be available.
Yeah, that's the sort of guy you're looking at. I think the best case scenario would be one of the Joneses. But that's not.
We're not talking Catherine Zeta. That's actually terrible. They have to do something about that.
What? I think there is a clause in the CBA. You can just go back to his. If it hasn't worked out for at least one of the teams, you see all the Fire Nico chants today at the game.
I haven't. I was bloody working.
Yeah, fuck.
And my friend Nathan just tagged me a 6-minute video of the
Luca crying. Yeah.
So after this podcast records, I'm going to watch that.
Proper
I
tears.
haven't yet seen it, but I have heard that he scored 45 points, and they were chanting "Fire Nico," and he was actual full crying.
Proper tears. Which is actually very emotional to see. Also, can I say, at the first quarter time, they put up a montage for Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
And he like stuck his finger up and stuff.
Right?
He didn't cry.
Yeah.
God, he sucks.
Yeah.
They said, Mavs fan for life. I was like, shut up, mate.
Shut up. Anyway, we both went over on the shit's 25.
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, what did they add? They added Quentin Grimes, who I really liked. That was part of my over. I'm just going to keep referencing him wherever I can. Keep going.
So next up we have your Denver Nuggets, who had a preseason over under 52.5. We both hit the over. Hasn't quite worked out. They currently have 47 wins.
Yeah. The 48, they beat the Kings today.
Did you hear they fired their basketball coach and their basketball team?
He looks like it was photoshopped on Mike Brown. I just saw a TikTok before I left the house. There was these Americans in Paris. They're like at a bar having some cheese and some wine, and this daughter's filming her mum who's crying, and then someone's like, "Oh, what is wrong? Is like the food okay?" She goes, "Our basketball team in Colorado, they just fired their head coach and he just loves those guys. He's been there for 10 years." And she's crying at a wine bar in Paris. Man, America is a different planet.
Just because, yeah. I don't know. I have a bit of sympathy for that woman.
How so?
When I found out that Chelsea Football Club had fired Thomas Tuchel,
Yeah.
who not even 12 months before had lifted the Champions League
Yeah.
in Porto,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they only had 7 games of the new season.
Yeah.
I wasn't crying to the maitre d' in Paris. I was pretty shell shocked for most of the day. Like, I was completely blindsided by this. And still to this day, sometimes I look wistfully out the window and I think, what if we had never fired Tommy T? So I can empathise with this.
Well, okay. That's not
First time I've ever tried to empathise with an American.
that's not the answer I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
I think what would have to happen to me, good question, Dante, for me to cry about basketball, probably losing
Always crying about basketball.
after being up 3-1 in the finals, or like if Steph Curry died tomorrow, I think I might cry.
Yeah. I randomly got really emotional when Kobe died.
Did you? We did a pod, man.
This day. No, I was very, I don't think I cried, but I was very moody and introspective that day.
Someone on
I was like, life, man,
it comes. Oh yeah.
You 1 minute you get into a helicopter with your family, and then the next minute it's gone.
Someone on Twitter was like, "Hey, don't worry, guys. They found the helicopter. He's a little bit shaken up, but he's going to be all right." Denver Nuggets. So just an absolute shit show out of the sand. What's behind the scenes, behind the kimono. And Jokic still powered them to 47. I don't want to be too much of a Jokic apologist, but the vibes...
That ship has...
But like the vibes were dead, buried, rotting in the ground.
Fuck, no, Corjudo is still on this team.
Because the owners vetoed a trade. Have you seen all these reports, man?
Who?
For Michael Porter Jr., whoever, fucking a healthy human who can defend.
This is the guy that we can't let go.
Yeah, the Cronkies. The Cronkies.
I can't figure out which is the worst Porter Jr.
Najee Porter.
Michael or Kevin.
But like, the vibes are horrible, and Jokic still is second in MVP at the worst.
I can't think of like a less good season that anyone has ever had when they played 74 games, averaged 18.5 points with 7 boards, and shot 50 and 39.5 splits.
Is that MPJ?
That's MPJ.
That's great. Actually, because at the start of the year, he was their second best player.
Here's Clarkin's basketball reference.
Nicknames? Wait, it's Curious Mike?
No, that to be a great one.
Is his podcast is called Curious Mike?
Yeah, I feel like that's only ever attached to people who are conspicuously dumb, which I feel like
fits in this
Because he's a conspiracy theorist as well.
context. His 3 nicknames are MPJ,
Classic.
Showtime, and Never Swing the Rock.
Is that one word?
It's 3 words.
That's too long.
4 words. MPJ. That's crazy, man.
I just had a vision because just behind the kimono a bit, we're drinking red wine while talking ball.
Just quietly. This has a bit of like talk tour going on.
No, I'm more thinking JJ Redick and old man of the 3. Like, would I be LeBron or would I be JJ?
You can be.
All right, I'll be LeBron Jamison. See, he's got a Barbie doll. He's got a Ken doll.
Did you see his son's playing NBA with him?
You know, Stephen A. Smith said if he played 36 minutes a game for 82 games, he would win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
You'd just have to be research.
So this day,
Come off it.
Jokic kind of has had an MVP level season. Feels like every fucking year there's 2 blokes in it. Everyone just said in any other year this would really easily win. Well, every other year there's someone else who's an NBA. Feels like he's not going to win it.
Yeah.
They're actually in danger of slipping into the play-in.
Sorry, I think this firing stops him from winning.
100% agree. The day of I had that thought, I was like, there's no fucking way that they're giving it to a guy on a team who fired their coach 6 games.
And dislikes each other.
Which, by the way, like, that's fucking insane. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah. David Alderman has 3 games to then rack up a playoff loss to his name before interviewing for a job.
He's going to have more playoff losses than regular season wins.
Yeah. It's horrible. Poor bastard.
Christian Brown was good this season.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson was good this season.
Yeah. We talked about it, though, because it's like, just keep the older guys, keep Jeff Green and keep KCP, and have them come off the bench while the young guys flourish.
KCP was kind of shit, though.
Well, yeah, but we didn't know. We were just like, hey, keep this.
Maybe Nicolas Cage, you would.
Yeah, and remember when he took over and won a title in his first year as GM? Kelvin Booth?
Yeah.
And then also there's an assistant coach called Popeye Jones, and he looks a lot like Kelvin Booth. It was 2 of the most ugliest blokes on that roster. But yeah, so just don't be cheap. Just keep your good players. Have you just Googled Popeye Jones?
He's so much uglier than Kelvin Booth.
Have you got a full body shot or just his head?
I can get you an FBC.
Yeah, get an FBS actually.
Look at that. Also, look at how Bing.com displays if you can just...
Stop going on Microsoft Bing, bro. Here, let me get you an FPS. Oh my god.
That's one of the ugliest men I've seen in a while.
He looks like the big guy from the Goonies.
I've never seen the Goonies.
Come off it. You haven't?
Nah.
I implore the listeners to Google Popeye Jones or Bing if you're banned from Google.
Really ugly. We ready to move on?
Yeah, I was ready a while ago. Golden State Warriors, tell us.
We'll move on from your Denver Nuggets to your Golden State Warriors. The preseason over-under was 43.5. We both hit the over. They currently have more wins than that. They're sitting 7th at 47 and 33.
Lost on a buzzer beater to Harrison Barnes today.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes wasn't invited to Draymond's wedding.
Yeah, revenge is a best serve with 3-point buzzer beater.
We started the season 12-4. We beat OKC in the first NBA Cup game. Buddy Hield was the favourite for 6th Man of the Year. I did a pod with Marco during that time, and we were talking about how wrong we were about this idiot basketball player who turns out to still be quite silly. Jimmy Butler joined us when we were 26 and 26, and it was quite grim. And I was happy we only had to give up Kyle Anderson, who I've completely forgotten existed until just now. Now we're 47 and 32. That's...
Yeah, so you've gone 21 and 6 since. That's pretty good.
It's so good. And Jimmy Butler missed 3 of those losses.
Yes.
It is spectacular. The vibes are immaculate. I wish we would have beaten the Spurs.
Not just for seeding, but because Chris Paul plays for that other team. Chris Paul might retire. He said he's going to speak to his family at the end of the year and make a decision. How good's that? We might have to not watch him play basketball ever again. If he's an analyst, I might not get league pass. I hate him so much.
He's got analyst. He's analyst presenting.
I know, yeah. It's called point guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you reckon about the Warriors going over here?
I got minimal thoughts.
Are you happy for me? I've deserved it.
How are you quantifying that?
Deserve?
Yeah.
Remember the Eric Pascal years?
Yeah.
God, they were dark.
Eric Pascal.
Yeah. God, it was dark.
Yeah.
Glenn Robinson the third.
Yeah.
Tiny dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Kai Bowman?
Kai Sky. But
Sky Bowman.
yeah. No, like awesome. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
You'll see.
I was trying to go back in the is it the annals of history?
Still the other.
And I was trying to find the last time out of the Deep 2 podcast network that only one of our teams made the playoffs, where the Kings, Wizards, Suns, and New Orleans Pelicans didn't.
Yeah, we're including Alonso as a Kings fan in that.
Yeah, or Pacer, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's ever happened before. I looked back at least 20 years. Famously a 60-year league, but
I mean, there's 5 different teams.
75.
So there's a 1 in 6. You know, it's 1/6 of the league. That's pretty good sample size of having any of those teams. Also, like, most of them are in the West. Except for Lucas' Washington Wizards. Sure.
So yeah, pretty crazy that I'm probably going to make the playoffs this year, and I'm going to be the only Deep 2 Podcast Network member in the playoffs.
You are. As of today, the Phoenix Suns eliminated.
Are you officially eliminated?
Could have seen that coming.
We'll get to them. That's horrible. Next team.
Yeah, this is a good one. Houston Rockets, 42.5. I went under. You went a push. Not sure about that one.
Single number push, 43.
Sure about that one. And they're locked into the fucking 2 seed. 52 wins and counting.
Who knew?
That's pretty good, and it's hard to think about any team that you would rather be RN moving forward than the Rockets, with the amount of diverse young talent that they have, established veterans, and draft capital. And the fact that they've got a really good coach and they just won 50 fucking games.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. They're a really fun team to watch.
They are. They are on both ends, which is rare.
Yeah, they're a great defensive team.
Yeah.
It's unreal considering that they're starting Alperen Şengün at the 5.
Yeah.
They have pretty much good defenders everywhere else. Steven Adams has been really good for them defensively and on the glass.
Resurgence to Steven Adams. Yeah. That's nice.
Amen Thompson, so good. He's actually got to be one of the most fun players to watch.
Seriously. Again, both ends.
Yeah, like he just moves. Everyone, it's been said, but he just moves differently. There's a genius.
There's a genius. This offseason, what if they trade Alperen Şengün and just really focus on the wings? I think this could be a very interesting team.
Serious.
They need to pick a lane, I think.
Why do they need to pick a lane that doesn't involve Alperen Şengün?
Merely me saying, but their offense doesn't revolve around Şengün.
I think if they're trading someone, it's not going to be him.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Green, but it's like, what's the conversation look like to get Devin Booker? I guess you probably don't want Green, Booker, and Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks.
No, Green's the one because his salary matches most closely.
I just wonder what they would look.
Şengün category.
I just wonder what they would look like with a different center who's potentially just generally better on defense, because they're doing such a great job.
Like a Clint Capella type.
No, like an Onyeka Okongwu type. What would you do? How can they get that next Draymond Green at center? And it's like, wow, is their defense somehow better than one? Like if they can get someone like Chet Holmgren, right? How do they turn Alperen Şengün into a defensive player of the year candidate?
I don't think that Alperen Şengün is our problem or the problem.
Neither do I. I just wonder what could happen if they did change.
You're going to have a defensive player of the year candidate. It's just that his name is going to have Thompson on it.
Yeah.
His jersey is going to have Thompson.
Yeah, I'm just spitballing, Dante.
I think Şengün is good enough that you put 4 good defensive players around him, like they have the ability to do.
And they're always going to do that. They're on rookie contracts, and then they're going to be cost controlled for years. Yeah, true, not a problem. Reed Shepherd did nothing. I thought he was going to do something.
I picked him for rookie of the year.
Yeah, he in the G League he was averaging 35 points or something stupid.
He still looks like he'll be
Big year two, like
be one of these like Christian Brown type operators where it doesn't really get much of an opportunity as a rookie, and then the players ahead of him get moved on for contractual reasons. They're going to have some of these guys are going to be extension eligible in coming years. Like,
yeah. Whitmore,
going to be worth what his
yeah.
He might be extension eligible this year.
Yeah, but you have to keep Tari Asen because he's good on Ds. Like Whitmore and Shepherd, similar skills. Yeah.
Exactly those kind of guys. Like, how much you paying Cam Whitmore?
Aaron Holiday, get rid of that MLE.
Cam Whitmore probably wants to get paid. Tari Asen probably wants to get paid. Tari Asen probably could get 15 million easy on the open market.
Yeah, would you rather pay him or Josh Giddey? As a general franchise. I don't know. That's too hard. Sorry. Memphis, since losing Dylan Brooks, 73 wins. Houston, since gaining Dylan Brooks, 93 wins. Interesting.
Under no circumstances will they allow him back. Yeah.
Look.
All right.
Next one.
Now we're moving into
LMNOPs.
Angels. The Clippers, 42.5 at the start of the season. We both went under 46. Pretty huge. Kawhi's missed 2/3 of the season. Didn't suit up until February or something.
He's now one of the best players in the league.
Who could have sent that guy in? Yeah, this was a prime candidate to go like hard under. They let Paul George walk. Kawhi missed the whole fucking season, but apparently James Harden and Norm Powell in the midst of Zubac plus Tyler is good.
Yeah. Zubac, first team all defense, maybe.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
Traded for Markham Scarlett.
God, if you could undo all of the Lakers' bad trades and keep
fucked up every single transaction,
and then got LeBron James.
Still have LeBron James and Luka Doncic.
Yeah, and it's so unfair. And then teams like the Utah Jazz are just like, hey, we're just throwing shit against the wall until we can maybe get one for 4 years before they run away. Yeah. The start of the year, it was literally like, okay, we've got the wall, and we're going to try and have the best defense. And James Harden, if you can summon some of what you used to do in Houston, that's great. If you can't, you're still going to get the ball and you're still going to be trying to do it. At the start of the year, they had Kevin Porter Jr. coming off the bench, acting as the pseudo James Harden when James Harden wasn't on the court, and that was really bad. And then Kawhi Leonard got healthy, and then obviously Norm Powell can do something with the ball as well. So they had other options. Luckily, they traded it to sort of take that card out of the deck. Does Bones Highland still play for this professional basketball team? Because he's one of the guys who probably had a look at like surrounding him with defense, saying like, have a crack.
Well, they were playing. They've been starting Chris Dunn like 20 to 25 minutes a game.
Chris Dunn's,
Their starting 1 through 3 has been Dunn, Harden, Powell.
They no longer employ Bones Highland, but they do Ben Simmons and Patty Mills.
Ben Simmons, yeah.
Patty Mills, second most threes off the bench.
Ben Simmons does the most off-putting.
Good butt in.
I wasn't even He posted tweeted something that was like, oh, Chris is a big excellent football fan. Before it's all said and done, like I need 1 season in the red. I'm like, come on, do it. Go and fucking do it. Go and fucking play rock for the Essendon Football Club. You can back up Todd Goldstein, take Sam Draper's spot, learn how to kick, go and fucking do it. You made $200 million. You're a fucking idiot. Like, don't fucking tweet out like, you burn through all your goodwill to be like, oh, before it's all said and done, like, I need 1 fucking season with the Bombers. Shut up. You know?
This is so JJ Redick and LeBron Jameson.
No wrong, mate. All right, speaking of the Lakers, 45.5. We both went under. And they're 49 wins as of current recording. They're third in the West.
Yeah, we just didn't know. We didn't know they were going to get the best young player.
Really good before the trades.
Were they really good?
Actually, were.
They were in the play-in battle. And
They were in the playing battle in the first third of the season, and they had a period of time where they were 21-17, and then they went on a real mid-season run with AD, and yeah, Reeves has been awesome. They traded for Finney Smith ahead of the deadline, so they've had Finney Smith for half of the season. They got Vando back. Gabriel Vincenzo has continued coming back from his injury. They actually have good, diverse role player skill sets. And then obviously we didn't know about the trade, but they were a top five seed when they made the trade.
it's really hard to listen to a podcast nowadays and not hear some Caucasian podcaster gush over Austin Reeves. I haven't watched enough of him to know how good he is, but people are talking about him like the way bisexual women are talking about Ireland right now.
Say no more.
But people are talking about him a lot, and I wonder how good he is. Do you have a grip on how good he is?
He's pretty good.
Yeah, but is he going to make an all-star team?
He doesn't need to make an all-star team if he's
Okay.
the third best player on a great team. That player doesn't need to be an all-star.
Who is he? Is he like prime Spencer Dinwiddie?
No, he's better than Prime Spencer Dinwiddie.
Bro, they were the days, but
Prime Spencer Dinwiddie famously mid.
nah. He was good before he signed with Washington, and then after he left Washington.
No, really, who would Reeves be? I don't know. He's not that far off like a Jamal Murray kind of
Operator.
He's not as good as Jamal Murray, but in terms of the skill set,
And obviously more consistent because
self-creating, he's a really good three-point shooter. He's got a good feel for the game. He does also just sort of very consistent. He's played every game. I don't know. He's probably not worthy of mass effect of Caucasian podcasters gushing, but could be one of the best third men in the league.
yeah, right. Better than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, is Jimmy Butler the third or is Jimmy Butler the second?
Jimmy Butler, quite literally the third. It says on his jersey, but he is also Draymond's a defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
Do you buy that?
that Draymond is no.
Who? Evan Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley. I don't know. So again, the guy that should be can't be. So
Yeah, true. That's
Mickey Mouse defensive player of the year, whoever wins it.
I know, but it's sort of making up for giving Kawhi 2, as opposed to the guy that revolutionized defense.
Don't retcon Kawhi defensive player.
He got 2 and Draymond got 1 titles.
All right. Let me just tell you a little.
Well, Josh,
Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about how it was back in the day.
let's move on.
You were even a twinkle in your mother's NBA eye. Kawhi Leonard, circa 2012 to 15, absolutely fucking the best wing defender that anyone has ever seen.
Yeah, LeBron shuddered when he checked in to the 2012 finals.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Kawhi was 22 years old.
Yeah. He was a twinkle in my mother's eye.
Yes, so let's not go back and try and cast aspersions. That's where we're standing on business.
People in glass houses shouldn't cast aspersions. next team.
This is another weird one.
This
Conference is so good for teams that find their coach just before the playoffs when they're in the playoffs. The Memphis Grizzlies had a preseason over-under of 45.5. We both went over buying the Jar stock. God, what would Jar think about the tariffs? Tune in to find out. The Memphis Grizzlies currently have 47 wins. They're the 6th seed by the skin of their teeth, i.e. half a game over your
Golden State Warriors, who own the tiebreaker.
As we all in the group chat know, because you and
Staying at home.
I think the thinking here was that like last year was a complete clusterfuck of a season, but Triple J got to really like explore the zone and proved to actually be quite good offensively, which we didn't necessarily think was the case before. And that Jar was going to come back and be Jar, and he kind of hasn't been as good.
Yeah. Yeah, the team's really deep. Lucas and I were talking about it last week, or 2 weeks ago on the quick time out with Sean Carroll. No, actually it was deep too, but it was a quick one. Yeah, they've built this offense that they've now ripped down. That's a very egalitarian offense. Everyone has a crack. Such an Australian way to say it. But
it's true,
but it is true, and it was like, yeah, it's great for the Scottie Pippins and the Desmond Baines of the world, but like their offense is best when they run a pick and roll with Jar. But now it's a bit like, okay, well, Santi Aldama and J Huff and Triple J, they were excelling in this egalitarian offense, but they've clearly gone back into just a pick and roll heavy offense. I don't really know what my point is here, but it's like they withstood the injuries to Jar because their offense was beautiful, and now Jar's going to play 40 games for the next year, right? And then the next years after that. What's going to happen to the offense when it's like, okay, well, our offense is predicated on pick and rolls. Scottie Pippen Jr., like, you're clearly not the penetrator that Jar is. Best of luck going in there and just trying to emulate what he can do. Or maybe do you pick another backup point guard who's more pick and roll heavy? Like, do you go after like Russell Westbrook from 2 years ago or something?
Probably not.
Yeah, but it's.
I mean, temporarily speaking, that's difficult.
That's funny. Yeah, what do you think of this team?
I'm just looking at Jar's basketball reference page. Low key, one of the worst volume 3-point shooters in the league. Like, he's probably getting close to like ever territory for a guy that shoots mean threes. Yes, I knew that he's not a good 3-point shooter. To start with, it's the very low threes. He's taking 5.5 a game.
Well,
and he's only playing 30 minutes per game. So you can add another 36 would be 6.5. A little bit more than 6.5 per game. Like, that's a lot. He'd make him a third of those. Yeah, I don't know. A bit weird with this team, like, especially considering that like Jar's absences over the past 2 years have mainly been off the court rather than on the court. He has had some injuries, obviously.
Oh
yeah. I think he missed a lot of time with the shoulder. Is that right?
Yeah.
Old body that would make him.
That would make sense. Yeah. But he has dunked the ball twice this year.
He had.
Yeah. He's dunked because he said entering the season, he says, I'm not going to dunk, and then he fully hasn't dunked.
Why is it not for him done?
Because he's like worried about his longevity. He is worried about. We're both furiously googling. We could just Google and it would come up, but is under totals? Oh my god! Similarity scores: Gail Goodrich 93%.
Man, real ones know Gail Goodrich.
Ja Morant. Dunks.
He's only played 65 games in a season once in 6 years.
He's dunked the ball 17 times.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well, it would be interesting to see the direction that the Grizzlies go.
Yeah.
Like, assuming that a coach that fires a team that fires their coach 10 games before the season is over is probably not going to make much noise in the playoffs. It would be interesting to see where they go. Let's keep moving. Minnesota Timberwolves at a preseason over-under of 52.5. We both hit the over, and they have 46 wins.
A lot of injuries.
Team adds Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Gets worse.
Yeah. They were flossing as of late. They were 16-3 before a really bad loss to the Bucks, where they were up by like 20 points. They were where your Phoenix Suns were pretty much, and then brought it all the way back. When we were recording this podcast, they had just made that draft day trade for
Tillingham.
Yeah, and he just wasn't touching the court to start the season.
Like, he legit didn't play at all.
For the winningest coach in Minnesota Timberwolves history, Chris Finch. It's surprising he's not fired. But
Not too late.
well, yeah, true. We know that now. Yeah, they traded for Dillingham, so it's like, oh, what can he do? And so I guess spend a couple of years in the weight room.
They traded for Dillingham as like
2 picks.
2 picks, but also as like a guy they were hoping by the time they were ready for this playoff push that he would be able to give them something that they lacked last year, which was a second guy who can dribble the ball on the perimeter and like actually get inside. He's a great player, but he's not that guy.
I think he's 39 or something. Also, Dillingham was like one of the favourites for Rookie of the Year, averaging 4.7, 1 and 2 on 44, 34.
I'm actually surprised at him 4.7. How many GP?
47.
That's more than what I thought.
Free throw percentage, 53. That's not a good sign for a shooter, but I trust that he'll bring it around. It's so that was a sort of big move before Cat a week before the season started. I think we recorded this just after that trade had been made. We were scrambling to figure out what it was going to look like. We assumed better. I think by the end of the season it has been better, but Julius Randle is a bit of a black hole. Remember at the start of the year, Rudy Gobert was like pointing at him to like move in a certain direction, and Julius Randle was like, "You fucking move there!" Like they were beefing on the court. Meanwhile, Ant's putting up like 11 threes per 36, and it was
an NBA player was beefing with Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, true. It's such a bad look.
Like all of that being said, I'm looking at the Genies now. Like they're currently 8th, assuming that they were.
Healthy.
Ended up 8th. I think they would get steamrolled by the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I don't think that they would necessarily, I think they'd have a puncher's chance against basically anyone else who they could possibly play, which at the moment is looking like the Rockets or the Lakers. Those are the other kind of team. If they were to stick where they are or make a push out, it'd be the Rockets, Lakers, or the Nuggets.
The Rockets are the one that everyone's looking for, just like young team. Healthy cat bounce.
I mean,
that's funny.
The healthy cat bounce.
Yeah, instead of a dead cat bounce.
Oh,
yeah, keep going.
I've never heard of dead cat bounce.
It sort of means you throw something at the ground, but like the cat will just instinctively jump. Where it's like you put in like a really good, an old, maybe like the Golden State Warriors, where it's like they might win a series because they know what they're doing. But then there's like healthy cat or young cat bounce, where it's like. You're going to drop them, you expect them to jump, but then they don't. Yeah, it's just made that up.
Yeah, I'm pleased.
Keep going.
Having a good time. The Rockets' half-court offense is really fucking bad. They don't have enough reliable shooting, and they have some really important guys on their team that they can't do without that are not good shooters. They're always going to have minimum 2 non-shooters on the court at all times. That is just a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. Someone will be feeling pretty good about taking advantage of that in the first round. And yeah, I absolutely think the Timberwolves could win that series. I absolutely think the Timberwolves could beat the Lakers in a series as well.
Yeah, the Timberwolves are a good matchup. For if the Lakers get the Memphis Grizzlies, that's typically been a good matchup for them, mostly because of AD and LeBron. I wonder what it will be like now, because they've got perimeter defenders to throw Luka 48 minutes a game. Yeah, they got the Vince Williams of the world.
I'm not fucking worried about that.
That's now that I fucking verbalise it, you make a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Now on to the New Orleans Pelicans. 46.5. I went over, you went under, and they won 21 games.
Yeah, it was 21st win today, actually.
They traded for DeJounte Murray for Dyson. They gave up nothing to Dyson Daniels, who actually, as we discussed in the earlier section of this podcast, turned out to be a great acquisition. And Hawks all the way back in the A's of the Eastern Conference, if you can cast your mind that far. Pretty crazy, the injury situation. Brandon Ingram was injured for the whole fucking season. They traded him to Toronto, and he still hasn't played.
Has he played a game?
He hasn't played a game.
Well,
not for Toronto.
But he did for New Orleans this year. 18 games, well.
Zion Williamson, how many games did he play this year?
I'm going to guess 60.
That seems way too high.
Zion Williamson, 30.
Yeah.
30, but 25, 7, and 5. So if you...
Yeah, but actually, like, literally get it together, kind of.
He did, but he got it together. No, he did get it together, but then they shut him down because they're not doing anything.
This is his 6th professional basketball season.
Yeah.
His 6th. 6. You know how many fucking All-NBA first teams Luka Doncic had after his 6th
Yeah.
professional basketball season in the NBA? He had 5. And the one year that he didn't, he had the Rookie of the Year. I mean, yeah, it's not apples to apples, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He had a really good run, and then they shut him down. I was talking about it with Marco on the pod when he was on that run, where it's like he's, fucking 38 and 14 against the Suns, which actually turned out to be not that good. But Marco's like, why would you tempt fate? Like, he's finally playing good basketball. You're going to shut him down. Like, let's just see how we go. Good thing they did shut him down. They're now solidly 5th in the 5th in the lottery. But yeah, I picked the under because I didn't believe in the fit of the team. I didn't know that they were going to be playing Eves Messi and Jordan Goodwin 82 games. The Pelicans are 4th in the lottery, and they're going to stay exactly there. Unless the Charlotte Hornets start winning.
Stay there in the lottery numbers, but fuck, wouldn't it be Pelicans-ish if they moved down in the actual draft?
Yeah. No, I mean, nothing much to say here. Like, my process was right, but I wasn't right for this reason. Like, I thought it was a bad fit. It was a bad fit. Started off bad, but can't believe CJ still plays there. I was going to say works there because that's what it feels like.
Still workplace. Oklahoma City Thunder, 55.5. We both went over. Why did we both go over? That's a high number. So they won 57 the year before, and all of their best players are under 25.
And they traded their one black hole for Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
And they signed one of the best backup centers in the league. Yeah. One thing that we didn't predict is 2 big lineups, which are obviously in vogue. You edited my article the other day. Is it vogue or in vogue?
I didn't edit your article the other day. It must have been.
No, it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, the other day. In vogue.
In vogue.
Oh, no, I did. Yeah, because you were spelling it with a capital V. Like Vogue the magazine.
Yeah.
Vogue the magazine is named after
the idea of being vogue. Yeah, right. Well, being in vogue. Interesting. Yeah.
Or maybe that's actually cabinet's the wrong way around, but it's in vogue.
Well, I published that. Anyway, so 2 bigs. They're playing 2 bigs with 2 guys that it never even crossed my mind to play 2 bigs with Hartenstein and Chet, but of course it's going to work. They're also just playing dummy lineups down the end of the year. They probably could have... They could have hit 70 wins, but they...
Yes, so it is... The word vogue is coming from the phrase in vogue, which is derived from the original French en vogue, which translates to in fashion.
OKC was probably one of our best bets, even though it was such a high number.
Did you make a best bet?
Yeah, it was...
I can't remember what mine was.
My best bet was Utah Jazz under.
Yeah, that's...
You didn't have fun. Yeah. All right, let's move on. OKC's cheese, chalk.
Oh.
Fuck, man.
Next up, we have the Portland. We have the Phoenix Suns, 46.5. I went over, you went under.
Yeah.
I will say I went over, as I always do, because that's my team and I'm going to choose to be optimistic, not because I actually thought that this was going to be a great season. And so it has proven. This team has won 35 games.
Do you bet? Do you do footy tips at work?
No.
Oh, okay. But if you did, would you pick Brisbane Lions every week?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I always bet against Carlton Football Club.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking probably would as well.
But yeah, what went wrong with Phoenix Suns?
Crazy that Frank Vogel was the problem and we won almost 60 games last year.
Yeah.
And then we brought in Monique Budenholzer, who's like an actual great...
Supposed to be the best.
No, he's great. He's a great coach.
Do you reckon he's still a good coach?
Yeah, I think he's still a good coach. So I just think that this team was playing Yusuf Nurkic, age 30, at starting centre for like the first half of the season.
And if they weren't, they were playing... Well, I was going to say Thon Maker, but it's Bol.
Or fucking Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, fuck. Mason Plumlee's so bad.
Mason Plumlee in 2005.
It's a matter of if not when.
Lucas sent that thing, that meme around a few weeks ago in the group chat that was like, who would win, the Plumleys or the Zellers? It was like the trio of brothers. Mason Plumlee is still fucking playing starting basketball for an NBA team in 2025, and every single other cunt on this list has faded into obscurity. Some, like the third Zeller and Plumlee, were always in obscurity.
Yeah.
Phoenix, by the way, has a rich history with Plumlees.
Yeah. Not Zelda's though. Did you watch the Daniel Lee video on Budenholzer? Like, you guys were actually going quite well. You like the 5 seed or the 6 seed, and then it was like Oso Ighodaro and Ryan Dunn were playing like they were the 5 and 6 pieces. And then they just for one day just Budenholzer flicked the switch. It was just like Plumlee and Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal.
Dunn was good.
Dunn's good.
It was pretty limited. But like, he was the second round pick, I'm pretty sure.
He's a backup center. You got him out of the second round. Awesome. Yeah.
What went wrong with this team is that the resource allocation is really skewed because they're paying $50 million to Bradley Beal. This is a significant part of it. And there's a real lack of quality size on this team.
Yeah, Nick Richards wasn't there.
Particularly when you look at the size skill matrix, there's one guy on the team who has anywhere close to a positive grade on the size skill metric, and that's Kevin Durant. But the number one thing, I think, something that I've been saying literally since the start of this era of Suns basketball with KD and Booker, even before Beal got there, is that the offense has never clicked with KD and Booker that it could have and maybe should have, because they're both such unbelievable players with such unbelievably diverse offensive skill sets, and it so many times just your turn, my turn. He has taken 2 shot attempts in a row, so like he's just going to stand, initiate, and then the set has him standing in the corner and spacing whilst Kevin Durant 15 seconds dribbles into a pull-up. Maybe he hits it, maybe he doesn't. That's the fucking thing when you're not shooting threes, not getting to the line. That's been the story of the Phoenix Suns in the Booker era, that they never get to the line. You're just going to lose. If you shoot 55% on long twos, you're just going to lose that game every single time. It's fully fucking cooked, actually. Like the situation from here. And then it really has been about as tough a fall from grace for me personally, to make it all about myself for a moment, as I could possibly have imagined in the last 4 years. If you told me 2021 we were up 2-0 in the NBA Finals and we lost, fine, whatever. If you told me then that this is where we would be, everything that would happen, we would have had Kevin Durant, would have had Bradley Beal, and this is how it kind of would have turned out. I could not have possibly believed it, yet here we are. And I don't think that there's anything that can be solved by not trading Booker.
Yeah, really. Like to Houston, get your picks back.
We're so denuded of any draft capital. It's 6 years. We have literally nothing of any value. Durant is not going to bring you back that much, at this point. Beal is not going anywhere. Booker is the one thing you have that's actually valuable. You get your own picks back and some other picks back as well. Actually try and rebuild. As much as it would pain me to watch him walk, it might be the way to go.
Did you listen to Zach Lowe's pod with Bill Simmons?
No, I try to avoid Bill Simmons' podcasts.
Yeah, right. Even Zach Lowe, our Lord and Father.
Because it's awesome 50% of the time when Zach Lowe is talking about the other 50%.
Could be 60-40 as well. Some pods are.
Yes. Not naming names.
So, yeah, Zach Lowe, he obviously hasn't spoken on a podcast for a couple of years. And he was just multiple times throughout that podcast, he's like, I just want to say I never got to talk about this and I really wanted to talk about it. And he goes, I wrote it down so for the next time I do a podcast I want to bring it up. But Matt Ishbia said that 26 teams are jealous of the position that the Phoenix Suns are in and would trade places in an instant. And Zach Lowe brought it up every 15 minutes. And he goes,
hold on, this team that we're talking about right now, the Portland Trailblazers, do you reckon they would swap places with the Phoenix Suns right now? He just kept bringing it up, and it's like, fuck, he full said that. Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
You got the owner that spends money. This should be easy peas, man.
Well, he did all the things that an owner who spends money that would make it easy peasy did.
Yeah.
But it just actually turns out... I mean, the Beal thing is like...
A bit stupid.
Well, it's not a bit stupid. It's one of the worst... It's one of... Actually, looking at it now, it's one of the worst trades in the last 5 or 10 years because we gave up... I think we gave up one first-round pick. It wasn't our own.
Because the Warriors...
First-round pick swaps in every year that we didn't have the picks that we were able to. So, like, it was like 20... 24, 26, 26, 28.
Yeah.
And then, like, every fucking second round pick we had, the reason why we had to start doing all those crazy things to, like, split picks and then try and get, like, 3 second round picks or whatever, is because we didn't have any picks left because we traded all of our seconds for Beal. And then whatever the fucking match and salary was, I kind of...
Chris Paul, he then got bought out / traded to a third team, which was the Warriors.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right, for Jordan Poole.
Yeah. Yeah, fucked up, man.
4 first round picks, so I was 1 first round pick and like 7 seconds for Beal. Not only to get Beal, but he gets you coming and going because you traded for the one guy in the league that has a no trade clause.
Yeah, and the only teams at the deadline who said that they would take him on are the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, and what would you have been offered for that? You would have been offered their worst salary and nothing else. Yeah. So you gave up all of those assets. Beal's been a terrible...
Les had a good point in the group chat where he goes, do you reckon he looks in the mirror and goes, I'm worth $55 million and goes to work?
He actually has been on record as being, people have asked him, journalists have asked him questions like that, not as turbo as that, but like, hey, like, you know, it's clearly not working out for you in Phoenix. Like, do you ever think about using the no trade clause, like waiving it and like going somewhere where it might be like a better fit? And he's like, I like living in Phoenix. I'm getting paid $50 million. My family's here. I'm lucky enough to like work for a great team and be able to do the thing that I love every day. I'm pretty happy. Actually seems like he has a really awesome perspective on life. So
which sucks.
Yeah, less of the world disappointed to know that he probably does look in the mirror. Like, I'm living the way that I want to be.
Yeah.
Which means he's in no rush at all to
get better at basketball.
Yeah, sucks.
All right, speaking of turbo, next team.
All right. Just Portland Trailblazers. They had a 22.5. That's so low.
It was tied second.
He went under, both of us, on it. And they currently have 35 wins.
It was tied second for the lowest over-under in the whole entire league.
They're tied. You know what else they're tied with? The Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, that's crazy. Joe Cronin, Toxic Joe Cronin.
Toxic Joe. Up quiet from Toxic Joe.
Yeah, he recently signed an extension. And he said before the season that the Portland Trailblazers were what the Houston Rockets were last season, hoping that they make a playoff push the following year. Do you reckon this team's 1 year away from the playoffs? Probably, actually. Probably now that we look at it.
Play in?
Maybe. Like Houston were in...
You actually think this team is 1 year away from the point? Like,
yeah.
This season they're rolling out a backcourt 3 of Scoot, Sharp, and Simons.
Yeah. Now that...
Less. And then Grant and Abdi on the wings, and then Klingon?
Klingon, Aiden, or Rob Williams, who should have been traded. Yeah.
Or Tumani Kamara, like, instead of...
True, they're not, but I mean that's what he thinks. That
Pretty low level talent on that. Like,
yeah.
Is Anthony Simon still the best player on that team?
Yeah. Okay.
The West is too stacked for like a mid egalitarian offense to like get up there, I think.
And like New Orleans is going to be better. San Antonio is going to be better.
Yeah, San Antonio will be much better.
The teams that are dropping out are like maybe Memphis, right? Like stuff like that.
You've put in here that Danny Turbo Abdia has come into his own as a do-it-all PF, but I'm going to keep asterisks on it until he does it against non-taking teams. I'm not, and I'm going to take a victory of that, because when Danny was traded last year, I said that's actually pretty fucking good.
For the 14th pick.
For the 14th pick at a future like heavily protected first.
Yeah.
I said Denny Abdul is a really good player. That's actually
You're right.
very good value, and so it has come to pass. Yes, he's been putting up 35-point triple doubles against non-tanking teams, but he's been putting up like the 28 and 5 lines against
some fine teams.
Yeah.
I think we're both right here. I think it's fair for me to keep an asterisk, but if your take was I think Denny's a lot better than he has been at basketball, you'll definitely have been proven right.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the best player in a playoff team though.
A rhetorical question, which I want to give you time to answer before we move on to the next team, is what's going on with Scoot Henderson? The Sacramento Kings, 46.5, and we both went under. And they have won 39 games. They fired their coach, Mike Brown. They fired their coach, Calvin Leafwet.
Do you reckon if you put Nicolas Cage's face on Mike Brown, he would look something like Kelvin Booth?
God, I'm going to do that after this.
We weren't fans of the DeRozan fit. It gets even worse when Darren Fox, the straw that stirs the drink, isn't there. Got in the way of Keegan Murray, getting DeMar DeRozan in there. We're assuming that like this over-under number was assuming that the 46.5, that the second best offense in the whole entire league from 2 years ago was the norm, which we assume isn't. We assume that was the aberration. I think we're right here and we can pat ourselves on the back. But the one thing I do just want to mention that in the old system, they're 7 games behind the 8th seed, and they would be tanking and they would be trying to get as low as they possibly can. But because of the play-in, and congratulations to Adam Silver for this, but they are still playing meaningful basketball and they're trying to stay in the playoffs, play in. And it's only today that the Phoenix Suns have been eliminated and the Kings remain in the top 10. So,
do you think that's true that they really would have been tanking? I think this is the one team where that's actually not true.
Because they're stupid.
The Vec.
Yeah. Well, let's assume all things are equal. Congratulations, Adam Silver. Do you want to say anything about the Kangs?
No, that's fine. I'm actually doing the mic round face conversion now. So do you want to take the next?
Sure. San Antonio Spurs. Their over-under was set at 35.5. You hit the over, I hit the under. They currently have 32 wins after a buzzer beater today against Golden State Warriors. 33 wins, sorry. Oh, is there a chance they get there? No. Oh my God. They can get to 35. You picked the over and said Wemby's going to be the defensive player of the year and there's going to be a really good team. And I hit the under and I said, I just don't feel great about the vessels in his shoulder. I think they're going to clot. Before he can reach 65 games and he won't be the DPOY. No, I just thought this team was bad. And Chris Paul, I just watched him play basketball and be a relatively average/negative player.
Yeah, it was just actually
I actually hate him so much. And I don't think he was good for watching enjoyable basketball in the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. They actually have a lot of like super mid players.
Devin Vassell for one.
Devin Vassell is Sohan, pretty mid. Castle, like
he's a rookie, whatever.
It's good, but yeah, like
yeah.
Like a rookie shooting 16 times. But Wemby, awesome. Would love it if he shoots less threes.
But this is one of the best things. This is one of the best things that could happen to this team. The fact that
Wemby getting deep vein
and them just getting another sniff at the lottery. Like this is perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect if they move up. But like,
just get a Cam Johnson.
What if they don't move up?
Yeah, but what if they just draft that Knuckle dude from Duke? You know, they just get their shooter.
Yeah.
Like just get a role player.
Flag guy.
While you're still face mashing, we'll go to the Utah Jazz. 28.5 wins. 28.5 wins.
Absolutely gargantuan. 28.5.
We both hit the under. They got 16. Did I send you that picture today where it was like Utah Jazz? It's like home game fam show out or something, and someone was like huge win for fans of 4-letter words.
Yes, you did.
That's what we're talking about with the Utah Jazz. It's just like, fuck man, what's going on?
What?
The NBA cognoscenti conspiracy theory that they're intentionally playing Jalen Williams' brother as much as they possibly can because he's the worst NBA player in history. Have you seen that?
No. Sorry.
Fucking Williams' brother.
Yeah, the shit one. Cody.
They picked
His brother's name's Zach.
I was gonna say, doesn't it sound like a TV star?
Sorry, wait.
Smorfa.com is not fucking working for me on this, so we might have to.
Sorry. A huge tweet for fans of four-letter words. Utah Jazz, both four-letter words. Love runs deep back home, four-letter words. Hashtag take note, four-letter words. Whoa. What have I got written down? Larry Markkanen played 47 games. That's what the money's for. And is 5th in the team in total minutes. Larry Markkanen had 17 blocks across the whole entire year. Isaiah Collier, 16 blocks. Isaiah Collier is such a good tank commander, man.
They were saying the same thing about Cody Williams.
Oh, that he's a good tank commander.
I saw some algorithmic.
Oh my god, he's averaging 4.6 points.
Some algorithmic thing was like he literally is like bottom 10 in the NBA in like.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see similarity scores.
Bottom 10 in the NBA in like every single major statistical and advanced category.
Oh, they don't have similarity scores. No. Yeah, he's shooting 33% from the floor and he's played 50 games.
That's literally worse than Maya Coburg.
Mia Coburg sounds like Maya Culpa.
Does.
John Collins has a player option for $26 million next year.
So he's going to take it?
Oh. Colin Sexton's making $19 million next year. So
Colin Sexton,
your mate.
You played against 405 guys on 3. All right, this is. Oh, actually, no. I found a dodgy website. Hold on. Continue talking amongst yourselves.
We're done. We finished the alphabet, Dante.
Got to you.
In the West, man.
Utah. Yes.
Sorry, no. Let me explain it. So I beat you by 2. Then let's just assume we both whatever happens to you at the Toronto Raptors. So I have beaten you 15-13. You should be, yep. I've beaten you 15-13 in this year's over-under brawl, which brings our total scores to, you've won 2, tied 1. I've won 2, tied 1. All-time score, you've got 77, you've got 76, I've got 77. Dante, this is awesome. I've just won. Dante, get off face mash. God, we are so tired.
It's been a long. If you've made it this far, think about what we had to fucking 76, 77. I mean, I was disappointed to be in the. I'm disappointed to be in second place. You know that I love winning things, but
you actually beat me in the Eastern Conference 8-7. I beat you in the Western Conference 5-8.
Much easier to get the Eastern Conference right than the Western Conference. So credit where credit is due. And credit where credit is due to be 77, 76 all time. I think we're just about ready to wrap up. But before we do, as a resident fantasy expert, do you want to tell us what happened with the final few weeks of the Deep 2 NBA fantasy?
Yeah, Dante won the league, man. That's I was a 9-10 dark horse.
We're top of the league.
God, you won't be singing that when you lose in the semi-finals of the conference.
Say more.
So first round, Dante and I matched up.
Wasn't really much of a matchup.
I know, but Marco DM'd me and he goes, if you can beat Dante, I reckon you got a Lamicki to the chip. And I was like, fuck, look, I'm on holiday, but all right, I'll fucking Google top waiver pickups week 16, right? You really want me to have?
I did this all. I didn't Google that shit once. I did it all organically.
Fuck yeah, you organically picked up Adam Boner.
That one I saw that he was like plus 17% added in the last week, and I was like, all right, let's pick him up for one.
Yeah, I picked up Kai Sean George. Scottie Pippen spells his name with a Y. Yeah, right, fuck this.
He wants to be different from his dad.
Bro, you can tell who's sweating here. It's just full Monty BBB, full Monty BBB. But not even, this isn't even the podcast anymore. Let's wrap up and just talk about it. Dante, congratulations on a vastly successful season.
Thank you.
Of fantasy basketball.
It was vastly. We really got to the Utah Jazz. I didn't even realize. I was so excited to talk about it. I guess we'll have to wait until next year.
Right. Peace.